ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. All right, everyone, welcome to another Roundtable Talk. And today I have been so excited. All right, listen. Their lives are literally my goals. Just find a beautiful person, be with them, get 500 million views on YouTube, adopt a beautiful baby, and call it a day. That's it. Life is set. Sam and Casey are here. You've been listening to them. You've been hearing them sing, and we're so excited to welcome to the Roundtable. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh. We're so excited.
Listen, we can't have these Ivy League educated singers on this trashy little show here.
Oh,
thank you all. Firstly, let's see if Casey, you're born in New York.
Yes, born in New York,
Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
In Manhattan, and Sam, you're from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And you
East Coasters in LA.
That's it. So we have New York, we have Pennsylvania. I'm a Jersey boy.
Oh,
and
nice.
Here we are on this East Coast. And when did you both start singing?
Oh, I think we've both always had music in our lives. Casey's from a very musical family.
My dad's a jazz pianist and a music director. So we were like singing at the piano since I was 3 years old. We had to sing. Everyone had to have a song at every family holiday. We were singing every day.
Even still, the holidays, his dad, Skip, gets on the piano and it's it's what you would imagine a musical family is like.
I absolutely love that. So there's no musical talent in my family. I was like shot out of a glitter cannon, and I can't sing harmony like you both because I've only been singing by myself. Your chemistry. No, the worst summer of my life was doing a cappella singing in the Music Man, and I'm going to ask you about all a cappella. And no, I can't share Sam and Casey.
Well, yeah, I guess it's both of our blood. We've got the gene.
Somehow you both magically, I say jokingly, end up at Yale University, and you end up not only joining the esteemed a cappella groups and musical groups up there in Connecticut at Yale, but you find each other. So can one of you tell us a little bit about how this all happened?
Oh my God.
Sam was the hotshot new freshman in the group. I was a junior. You're kind of not supposed to date within your a cappella group because if things don't work out, it gets awkward and there's drama.
Messy.
But we proved them wrong. We made it happen.
Somehow. Yeah, and a cappella at Yale is like a big deal. It's like culturally, it's kind of up there with frats. It's this whole rush process when you first arrive as a freshman. You get very intense about it in a way that looking back in retrospect, you're like, why were we so crazy about it? But it's fun.
Yeah, it's culty for sure.
So in that environment, that pressure cooker, we found love.
Look at these young, look at you two. And
oh my God. Who are those?
Oh, the skin.
Like comparing side by side, it's not pretty.
What singing together, you guys have such chemistry singing together, your tones together, your harmony parts together, and then the musicality of you both, how you mash things up and make things together or individually is just beautiful. Was that always just the chemistry that was there? Do you guys work and practice to make it as good as possible?
I think whenever you've been singing with someone for well over a decade now, so closely, and not just singing, but also, like you said, we arrange together, we produce together, we write together, we do videos together, we are raising a child together. When you're so sort of in sync in so many lanes, I feel like the musicality kind of just, it comes. I know his voice so well. He knows mine so well. So
we're always singing dumb stuff in the car together, weird little songs. We're constantly singing it.
Oh yeah, and that very much started in a cappella, where there's a culture of like, even when you're not on stage, you're just singing all the time, probably much to the annoyance of everyone around you.
For sure.
But I feel like that just breeds a real familiarity with each other's voices, and like it's still fun all these years on.
Your ranges, your ranges are. I'm just jealous of the whole situation. They're beautiful. So good.
Casey in particular.
There is no range. It's just the stratosphere. There's no range over there. So when things started to pick up for you guys professionally, let's talk about it. Symphonies and orchestras and Radio City and Casey singing with Adele, and then Sam, on Oprah and Ellen and Britney Spears talking about covers, and hundreds of millions of views of the work that you put together. Was there a moment where you looked at each other and said, what in the world is happening? This kind of explosion that took off.
I think there are a lot of moments like that. And there's just so much gratitude when things like that happen. I mean, we're so lucky and so grateful to be able to make music together and to be in a musical family and share that with the world.
Yeah,
And
I feel like a lot of that stuff, it's easier to think of it in retrospect of like, wow, that was all happening. You know, when you're in it, everything is so new and different and exciting, especially when it comes to music on the internet. It's all still new. And so everything that happens, you're like, wow, okay, this is happening. Okay, this is happening. This is really cool. So it isn't until years later you look back that you're like, kind of can sort of map out what was happening. But like Casey said, it's constant gratitude and like pinching ourselves that this is what everyone who loves music dreams of, is just getting to make music and do it in a way that is satisfying and exciting and with people that you respect and care about. It's just the best.
Well, if you're one of the 8 people out there who have not subscribed to their YouTube channels or Instagram or wherever, make sure you do. Like, let's take a look at this one particular. This is 41 million. 41 million, like Creed 3 wishes they had 41 million show up at the movie theater this weekend. But it's your voices, your chemistry, and then the mashup. So the idea of mashups is very popular in a cappella music, of course. How do you guys come up with the songs? Do they just click? Do you sit down and try to figure it out? How do these ideas happen?
I think Sam's especially good at that, of just thinking what 2 songs might be interesting together musically and thematically, in opposition to each other.
I think, right, there's 2 sides to it. There's like the storytelling side of sometimes you're like, ooh, these 2 songs that are popular right now kind of that mashup you just showed, sort of tell 2 different stories. So juxtaposing them is really kind of like interesting and fun. And I think coming from a musical theater background, which we both do too, there's a lot of that, of sort of like
wanting to tell
overlapping themes that kind of create new interesting things. So we kind of approach it in that way. But then also on the other side, there's the musician, which always is like, ooh, this is fun. These 2 songs, kind of the contour of their melody complements each other. So let's see if those kind of can work together, or the chord progressions are super similar or super different. And just all those different kind of elements are what keep it fun for us, which is, I think, the key to all of this, is that the reason that it's fun to watch people's content is you can feel that we just really like doing it.
No, it's contagious. When you watch you sound beautiful and it looks beautiful, but the joy is contagious. We are enjoy watching you guys do what you do. So when you come up with an idea and you cover some big monster pop diva, Adele, Easy on Me piano extravaganza, is there ever a moment where how much do you, when you guys do it, you make it as good as you can? And then is there a moment where you have to just let it go? Because do you get stuck in making it perfect and comping your vocals and making sure it looks, how do you, as an artist, say, I'm just going to let it go and do what it does?
I think we've gotten better at that.
Definitely.
Sam's for sure a perfectionist on any project he's working on. He especially if it's engaging with someone else, with a brand, with a collaborator, he just wants it to be the best thing it can possibly be. But I think TikTok has kind of helped us, like, just make something and put it out. We're doing this series that's 1 song from every country around the world, and we're up to, like, I don't know, 60 out of 195. And with those, and each one is in a different language, and
we do put a lot of work into those.
We put a lot of work, but you kind of have to be like, all right, we gotta just do this and do the best that we can and get it out and go on to the next one.
I think being a musician and working on YouTube, TikTok, online generally has been a great boot camp in the learning to let things go, because I think when you are working on these big long-term projects, you're totally right. It can be easy to think it's never done. But when you're talking about YouTube videos or TikToks that you kind of just, you got to put out, and there's a certain element of volume of just like, let's put it out, see what hits. If you really care about something, but that doesn't get a lot of views, move on, And so it teaches you to be a little less precious about every single thing and look at the work you're doing, as a whole, and say, even if this one little thing isn't 100% perfect, it's telling this larger story And as long as you're proud of that story,
Right.
you don't have to get lost in the weeds.
And that being said, we have projects that we've been working on for years and retooled and reworked and might not come out for another 3 years. So we're definitely not.
We're not perfect at the yeah.
Well, it's not only covers and it's not only mashups. Casey, we were watching in my classroom today in my real job. We were watching this video of The Day It Overflows and some of the original music that you guys have worked on. So how do you, Casey, marry together the covers and singing great pop songs and jazz songs and Broadway songs, etc., and also to create and compose your own pieces of work?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Sam said, it's really about like chasing the joy of things. And when both of us really, it's important to us to write and put out original music. And when we have an idea, we just want to see it through, and making fun videos and producing it in interesting ways. I think all of that is part of the creative.
Yeah, and in a
process.
lot of ways, many of the covers and mashups and things we do are kind of an education in picking apart great pop songs and seeing what makes them tick. And sort of it's fun to then take what you've learned and put it into your own work. And yeah, I think it definitely makes you a better writer to be doing sort of these deconstructions and covering and rearranging and reharmonizing stuff. You approach your own work with like a lot of exciting new ideas.
Can't say it better than that, truly. So Sam, what we weren't only listening to Casey, we happened to be listening. We listened to the Mashups album today.
Yeah. Yes.
Featuring the eighth wonder of the world vocalist India Carney that's on this.
How amazing is India Carney?
She's the best.
She's so great.
I mean, you all are no slouches, but she can sing the
phone. Oh yeah. And also, what incredible musicality, and just she's awesome.
I got to see. I know you work with her, but I got to see her in a recording studio in LA. She worked on the Witness Uganda album, which is a theater piece, and she was a part of to see her work and her way she approaches music and it's brilliant. So tell us a little bit about the album and how did it all come together?
Yeah, well, like you said, we've been doing mashups for years and years and years. And, they're all on YouTube and all over the place, but we just hadn't put them on streaming in sort of one place all together. And so we figured it was high time we did that and just sort of compiled literally over a decade's worth of mashups into a single album, which was really fun for me also to take a walk down memory lane. Cause I also kind of like remixed and remastered a few of the older projects where you're like finding a Logic project and you're like from 8 years ago and you're like, oh, that choice was interesting. That mix is not so great. So it was a fun trip down memory lane for me and hopefully for the fans who have been listening for years and years, a nice opportunity to throw their favorites in a playlist and, revisit some of the classics. Right.
You don't have to just see it on YouTube. You can now be on the elliptical machine or in the car and just stream it from beginning to end and get a sense of it. So here's the $1 million question. You guys have been together for a minute. Mm-hmm. You have a beautiful daughter. You're the most beautiful family.
Aww.
How do you juggle all of the demands of your life and your family? And how do you put it all together and still look like you enjoy each other?
Well, I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, it's a joyful challenge, but it's a challenge. Alaya is 20 months old now, and she is so full of energy and running all over the place and saying words and
she's singing now. Yep.
Yeah, she's just started singing. And so we just want to spend every second with her that we can. And we're finding ways of when we can get work done while she's taking naps or she goes to the park with the babysitter, but it's definitely, I don't know, for the first 6 months, the first year, we were like, oh man, it's hard to do anything.
Want to do anything else.
Just stare at her.
But and the crazy thing too is just when and I'm sure this is true of all new parents who are trying to juggle that stuff, just when you think you're like, okay, we finally have it figured out because she goes down for naps at this time, so we can work then, and then this, it all changes up within a week of you thinking you have it figured out, and then the routine is different, and there's new things you got to be doing, and then she's running around and you're baby proofing. It's I mean, like, how trite to say, but like what an adventure, like truly has changed our lives in just the best possible way. And we feel so lucky and grateful that the kind of work that we do and working sort of in our home studio a lot and we just get to kind of mesh it all into one big thing where we're working and she's sitting on our knee while we're doing some work here. So it's really like the best of all worlds thus far.
And with travel, we just kind of do a little touring less together and more on our own. Like I'm going to Baltimore for a show next week and Sam will be here. And then Sam was in Abu Dhabi in December and I stayed with her. So we just kind of trade off.
Some logistic stuff you got to work out, but it all works, you know?
Like just a quick jaunt to Abu Dhabi, sing a couple songs at home. When you it's the dream. When you and it's well deserved. You guys do such amazing work. It's beautiful. You know, you live your lives very publicly. You made it very clear about your relationship, your marriage, your family, etc. And in these crazy times that we're living in, how important was it for you to have a conversation and say this is who we are, this is our family, and to be a role model and you are a example for a lot of people out there who have never really seen one in this way. A happy, committed couple with a beautiful daughter that makes a living doing a job that people say we're never going to be able to do. Right. So how was that to make the decision to be open and honest about it? And what kind of responsibility do you feel because of it?
I think there's a huge responsibility. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to talk about that? Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think from the very beginning and nowadays, I think people are maybe a little more prepared as they get into having a public, at least on the internet, because there's just more precedent. I feel like when I started, I didn't really realize that's what I was doing. When I first started just uploading music videos, that was not necessarily, part of the vision I had. But it has become clear over the years that there is sort of, I think, a really important role that creators like us have in representing and it's an honor, to get to be a part of this wave of people who are, as you said, publicly just kind of being ourselves, being hopefully, good role models for queer couples, queer families. So just approaching everything thoughtfully. I think it just means, and that's, I think, good advice for anyone, approach what you do online thoughtfully, but when you're representing, a community and a group, I think you just have to be really considerate about everything you do and say and put out. And so,
and the responses are so meaningful to us when people have reached out in person at shows or on social media to say that our music or our family has meant something to them or has encouraged them to live their lives more authentically. That is so meaningful. And we take that so seriously.
Yeah.
That
especially having such a global audience too, which the, internet allows, makes all of that even more meaningful, where you have people from such a different, cultural backgrounds and different places where like, queer and gay people do not have the rights that we have, or, so being able to kind of, have a window into those worlds and provide hopefully some kind of, again, example is amazing. And like, again, one has to pinch oneself every day.
One does.
One does.
Well, it's inspiring to me. It's beautiful to see. And it's so funny because working with younger people, especially aspiring artists, they look to social media. It's about TikTok. It's about who's your favorite YouTuber, who's your favorite TikToker. And my old self is like, I bought CDs at Coconuts and watched network television.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This is the medium of this generation, that this is where where they see and get their news and their images from, and they're not watching, CBS Evening News. They're going on TikTok and YouTube, and you being there and having this, they're going to fan out. Everyone's going to fan out when this is on. Well, you're watching it right now, but when you watch this, because so many people are such big fans, and you give so much joy and so much hope to so many people through your music and through your lives. And is just the most beautiful thing.
Thank you so much. That means so much.
Oh yeah. I mean, it brings us more joy, I think, just seeing people listening to our music and engaging with us. Like, it's so truly wonderful for us.
It's so good. You both sing so, my goodness gracious. And harmonies and actually on pitch. What
most of the time.
How dare you? If you want to subscribe, please make sure you subscribe and find them on YouTube, and then they're on Instagram as well. Sam's website, if you want to see the different discography and all that fun stuff, and you keep up with them on the YouTube and as we said, TikTok. They're going through every country.
Yeah,
on TikTok, every country. Yeah. And I'm sure there is lots more tricks and magic you have up your sleeves.
Most definitely.
So thank you so much for being here. It's a real honor to get to talk to you all, and I can't wait to hear the music and see what's next.
Thank you so much for having us. This is such a pleasure.